Are we sure about this?
What's left? Everyone we love is gone.
This doesn't feel right.
If you leave, we'll lose you too. I can't bury another. She can help us.
But at what cost? What will be our penance for immortality? We will don our god's mask and expect no retribution?
Buried alive is right. Look around. God left us long ago. Come in, my young sisters three. How thoughtful of you to come see little old me. Relax, children, I do not bite, but instead I will mend your plight.
But how do you know?
The plague, of course, little girl, the bumps and boils that affix themselves to this world. An awful mess, this sickness, burning the dead in the nearest ditches. But there is hope. Only in magic. Only in witches. So you see, you're not the first rat begging for cheese. So you must be here to escape death's grip. A simple conclusion with a simple solution, magic. What say thee? Be granted immortality in exchange for a small bother. Curse may be too harsh a word, think of it more as a reminder.
What do we have to lose?
We all must agree, I cannot bear to live without you two.
I agree.
I agree.
Very good, and very well. It is a rather basic spell. There you are. Eternal life. And one last thing to do. We'll view your cards of strife, and see what they demand of you. For you buried alive, the card of graves. Ever will you marry, never will you celebrate. On the night of matrimony, your husband will die without fail. And under the stars, you will bury him. Each new moon will grant you a new husband that you'll need to bury again. As for bare minimum, the card of daggers. Always with you, a dagger, sharp and deadly. That will one day fly from its sheath to the throat of your soulmate the moment you first meet. And Mossy, the card of visions. Others will see you most beautiful and sleek. Your allure known the world over. But you can only take the hand of the man with the ugliest face in the land. A word of caution, dear sisters three. Magic has given you immortality, and only magic can take it away, just as easily. Avoid those who wield it, or it will be your undoing.
No one really knows the way I could still be here. You know, his pain will not easily disappear. There is nothing to say or do when you're traveling alone. I can only look to the sky and I do see light. That railroad moon.
This wound needs tending. Deserved it. How was I supposed to know my lady friend had a husband? Good thing he's a bad shot, but my shooting arm ain't ever gonna be the same. Well, Justice, guess we ought to get back to town. Boss will be waiting. You'll get fed, old girl. And if I die on the way back, at least you'll have a hot meal.
What the hell happened to you?
A lover's quarrel.
What's the word on Mossy? She give you that?
Nah, this was compliments of one of the local married men. Mossy is hunkered down out in Drusfar.
That's perfect. Tonight we make our move. Art has eyes on Bare Minimum, and we know where Buried Alive likes to frequent. These Cactus Sisters have little prick if we move on them separately.
Surprised Art made it that far on his two little legs.
Get ready to ride. And Deadwood, tell that damn horse of yours to stop eating the hitching post.
But she's hungry, boss.
There she is, the Black Widow, buried alive. Poor thing, burying her late husband.
How do you want to approach this, boss?
I was thinking you go over there and spark a conversation. See if she's armed.
She's 90 pounds, soaking wet, and exhausted from digging her husband's grave. I think we could just politely explain to her that she is a wanted criminal and will be taken into custody and later executed.
And if that don't work?
I'll just pick her up and throw her on justice.
Deadwood.
Fine. You're the boss, boss. Well. Say, what a fine night to be shoveling. Oh! How'd you do that? Impressive.
I killed her.
Wasn't that the point, boss?
I could have sheeped her, brought her to the courts, be put on trial, but I chose to kill her.
Not to be disagreeable, boss, but she was already dead before you killed her.
It might not be a difference to you, but it is to me. Deadwood, we can't leave her like this.
I get the distinct impression I'm going to be digging a hole.
There, next to her husband. It's only fitting. While you're laying her to rest, I'll explain how I did such a impressive thing. First thing to know about being a good arcane mage is to first be a good mage. Mages have several spells that help keep the bad guys at bay. I remember back when I first started learning how to mage, and how it is unique from all other classes. Back then, it was just me and my very best friend Bare Naked, and we had each other's back. She is a healer, and keeping your healers safe is one of my top priorities. Putting down a Ring of Frost will stop would-be healer killers in their tracks, or a polymorph to make them rethink their choices. If that failed, a Frost Nova or Cone of Cold will root them, or a Blast Wave to knock back and slow them, and Supernova will knock them straight up in the air. Mere images will draw their attention away, so I can wail on them for a little bit, and if some fancy footwork doesn't throw them off my scent, I can just go invisible. Also, knowing when to interrupt a spell with counterspell, or when to stun or snare an enemy, is an essential skill all mages should know. As a mage using crowd control, you can shape the physical formation of the battlefield, for better or worse. So take your time learning each crowd control spell, when and when not to use them. You learn these things through experience, so don't be discouraged if you blast wave when you should have counterspelled. The best thing to do to be a better mage is just practice. Put yourself in odd or dangerous situations, and try to figure out how to save yourself. Beating on a training dummy is fine for learning how to become a cold-blooded killer of wood, but going into a delve or doing world quest will teach you how to become a survivor. Blink is a fun little spell. I like it because, unlike Shimmer, it will break you out of snares. You can alter how your blink functions by picking up arcane momentum. This augment changes the blink from just going forward to going in the direction you are moving. If you are Horde, stop by Orgrimmar here. And talk to this fella. If you are Alliance, teleport to Stormwind. Turn around and chat with this guy to learn or unlearn this passive spell. If you use Alter Time twice quickly, it will reset your blink cooldown, so you can get an extra blink if you're in a hurry to get away. Alter Time also snapshots your health and position, so when you use the spell a second time, you will go back to the position you previously held, along with the health you had at the time. Also, using Blink right before you hit the ground will save you from fall damage, that is, if you didn't use the slow fall spell. As for Polymorph, it is great for taking most humans or beasts out of a fight. While polymorphed, they will regenerate health very rapidly, but become a useless sheep until you hit them or the spell wears off. And you don't have to just sheep them. As mages, we have a wide range of polymorph variants. If you ever find yourself in Azure Band, try checking here, and blinking through this ice wall. Or, while you're wandering around Dornegal, check in this building here, and travel down the hallway to talk to this lady right here. You might find the adventures worth your while if you're wanting to add some variety to your spellbook. Mages also provide buffs for the group, like Arcane Intellect, Conjure Refreshments, Mass Barrier, and Time Warp. Arcane Intellect helps the casters. Conjure Refreshments keeps everyone fed, particularly your healer. Mass Barrier gives everyone your Charismatic Shield, and Time Warp makes everyone much faster and is usually used on bosses. We also have Remove Curse, but mine doesn't seem to be working. If you find yourself outgunned, put your Charismatic Barrier up. It will absorb a bit of damage while you set up a way of getting them off your tail by using the crowd control methods described earlier. But if you're in an impossible situation, just go invisible and run to a safe area. Invisibility is also a huge defensive, which drastically reduces the damage you take for a short while. If you're expecting to take some serious damage while in a group, use invisibility or ice cold to mitigate a good hunk of that damage. Ice cold will also heal you up a bit, so consider using it if your healer is struggling to keep people alive. Unlike ice block, ice cold allows you to still move around, but you are not immune to all damage, like you are in ice block. Now, let's see what it takes to be a good Arcane Mage. Arcane Mages use charges. Think of them like a measure of firepower. The more you have, the more damage you're going to pump out. Several spells give you charges, so let's go over what those are. Touch of the Magi will give you all 4. Orb will give you 1 for releasing it, plus 1 for each bandit you hit. Blast will give you 1. And Arcane Explosion will give you 1. Unless you have Clear Casting, then you get 2. Clear Casting is a whole nother ball of wax we can get into later. But Clear Casting is a buff you get when you cast arcane spells, and you can only use missiles when you have Clear Casting. That's all well and good getting charges, but what do you do with them? Shoot them out, with Barrage. Think of those other spells as your ammo, and Barrage is the trigger. When you use Barrage, you take all the power in those charges and release them, leaving you with 0 charges. When you shoot out the Barrage, you have a chance of also spitting out an orb, which in turn gives you more charges if it hits the troublemakers. This version of orb only gives you charges for hitting stuff, not for releasing it. So when you use Barrage or orb, be sure there isn't any innocent bystanders behind the monster you're fighting, just in case you shoot out an orb. And Arcane Surge is your heavy hitter. It gives you a spell power buff and gives you Clear Casting. Speaking of Clear Casting, Deadwood, are you paying attention?
Good God, boss, you've been talking this whole time.
I don't know why I bother.
You'd think I asked a preacher about the Lord. Well, if you're done with your sermon, Miss Double Dead is tucked in for the night. Whiskey time.
You know I don't drink.
Then I'll drink for the both of us. Then I need to wash up sometime this week.
Yeah, both of us got our hands dirty today.
I got trouble like you ain't never seen. I must have a million enemies. They're on their way to come and kill me tonight, but the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, all my life I ain't done no good, till a preacher's wife told me what I should. She said, repent your sins, and when I asked her why, she said, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, she said, repent your sins, and when I asked her why, she said, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind. tale of how the walls in Jericho did fail. They gathered around it and let out this cry. They said the Lord is coming soon. Oh my, he's the pillar of fire, consuming everything. The one that Moses followed to the raging sea. Singing Pharaoh's men, they are close behind, but the Lord is coming soon. Oh my, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my, singing Pharaoh's men, they are close behind, but the Lord is coming soon. Oh my.
It's right there in my butt, in my boot, in my ears. Hell, got sand in all my cracks and corners. Sweating like a sinner on Sunday. Getting a raise after this, Rango. Boss? Boss? I'm talking to you. My wages need doubled. You ain't ever gonna find a lawman like me around these parts, no sir. Reflexes like a mountain lion. Strength? Hell, got plenty of that too. Oh, shush up, you. If it weren't for me, you'd be served with beans and taters. Okay, now shush up. Gonna get the jump on her. If I bring her in all on my own, boss will have no choice but to give me a raise, maybe even a horse.
An eastern wind tugged at a western-bound sun. I've got 2 shots of whiskey simmering and a shot from a Colt 45 stinging. Guess that puts me 3 shots deep. That fool went in there on his own. Boss, I'd rather not be hit with the blunt side of a cactus thorn again. Got any advice?
Oh, now you're all ears? Now, where did we leave off? Oh yeah, clear casting. When you consume the clear casting buff, you get another buff called Nether. It makes your next 2 barrages or blasts do more damage. And figuring out which one to use when can sometimes feel like playing a game of patty cake with a rattlesnake. But I'll keep it nice and simple by dividing things into 2 categories. What we're seeing here is a division of 2 main categories Arcane Mage can fall into. There is ranged and mid-ranged. Each have a different talent tree, rotation, and playstyle. So let's first establish which one you want. Would you rather be at range from the bad guy, or commonly called mob? Or do you want to be in the thick of the action, dancing in and out like a swashbuckler? There are pros and cons to each, so let's dive into what those differences are. If you are ranged, you will be focused on prioritizing using missiles when you get clear casting, and not Arcane Explosion. And you'll consume Nether with a blast combo most times, so your main rotation will center around missiles, blast. Now, if you're mid-ranged, you'll prioritize using Arcane Explosion when you get clear casting. Keeping in mind that Arcane Explosion requires you to be close to the mobs you're fighting. As mid-ranged, you'll consume the Nether buff with Barrage. So this playstyle likes the Arcane Explosion Barrage type of rotation. This is the most fundamental difference between the 2 categories. It's how you spend clear casting and what you consume Nether with. Both of these styles will change up which combo they are based on what situation they are in. For example, a ranged Arcane Mage may want to consume Nether with Barrage if they get Intuition after they get clear casting. Or a mid-ranged Arcane Mage may want to use a Blast Barrage combo if they have Ley Drinker and full charges. Intuition is a buff you get that gives you 4 charges when you cast your next barrage. You'll want to make sure you have some charges before using it, like cast an orb or a clear cast enhanced arcane explosion. You really only have time to cast an instant cast spell or finish the one you are currently casting. It is a very short buff. This is where things start to get a little fuzzy, so I'll keep it simple. If you want to be primarily ranged at all times, pick this talent. Invest in talents that buff your missiles, like these here. And if you want to be more mid-ranged, pick this guy, and you'll invest in these talents instead, that buff your barrage. Being full or mid-ranged is not etched in stone. Oftentimes you need to move in or out for mechanics. Mechanics are abilities or events that happen in regard to the mobs. For example, mid-ranged arcane mages will stay ranged on most boss fights and use missiles instead of arcane explosion, and consume nether with blast, just like a ranged arcane mage would. But just like if you put your saddle on backwards, it's going to feel, well, kind of weird. Same goes with a ranged, trying to area of effect or AoE mobs by spending clear casting on arcane explosion instead of missiles. This is the trade-off you must concede when you specialize in ranged or mid-range, but worry not, you can always hybridize your spec to suit your individual needs, and to do that you'll need to know some synergies of your talent tree. This is the ranged talent tree setup that would be great for starting to learn arcane. Some synergies here include Evocation, Arcane Surge, Touch of the Magi, and Magi Spark. These play a large role in the rotation. For this setup, you would use Evocation before the fight begins. That builds up your intellect, which is core to your damage. Then Surge to buff your spell power and give you clear casting. Then throw out a barrage, immediately followed by Touch. Use your missile clear casting buff to get nether, and consume the nether with blast. Now, why are you doing it this way? I don't want you to just remember the process, but understand what actually is happening. The Evocation and Surge are to ramp up your damage output. Then we capture with Touch. Because Barrage has a travel time and Touch does not, the Barrage will hit right after the Touch has been applied to the mob. We want Barrage to hit after Touch, so it satisfies one of the Magi Spark stipulations, which is to have Barrage, Missiles, and Blast hit after Touch has been applied. It's like a minigame. We use the missiles from the clear casting that Surge gave us after to also add to the minigame. Once we use clear casting, we get nether. So at least one of those stacks of nether need to be consumed by Blast to finish the minigame requirements.
Hi, I'm Mr. Pooh, and I just left my first comment. It was easier than I thought. Follow these simple steps, and you could be a cool cat too.
This may seem like a lot, so let's keep the following in mind. Ramp up your damage, capture with Touch, clear cast, and nether. Something to keep in mind with this ranged version is that getting low on mana may be an issue. If that's the case, try weaving in some barrages as your second nether. This will help you recoup some mana, as using barrage recovers mana when you cast it. Evocation and Surge should always be paired together, so make sure you are intentionally low on mana before using them, as they both will give you full mana. Because Blast costs more mana with the more charges you have, spamming Blast while at full charges will help dump mana before you recover it. The Intuition talent is like whack-a-mole with this setup. You can incorporate it into your nethers, but oftentimes you'll see the buff and just cast Barrage and then move on with your rotation. Having the Arcane Tempo talent will help you pump out blast and missiles faster. Your consumption of clear casting is lower compared to that of a mid-ranged Arcane Mage, so the big brain talent won't be as effective. I see your eyes glossing over a bit, likely from the blow to your head earlier, so I'll wrap up the ranged Arcane Mage stuff. It's important to recover charges after you spend them. As a general rule, you never want to use Blast to get your first charge. It takes too long to cast and is very weak. Instead, try an Arcane Explosion. That way you get one charge instantly. Try your best not to get in that predicament in the first place by employing the method of Recover. If you know you're going to be out of charges after casting a barrage, use Arcane Orb to recover the charges quickly. If you can't recover, don't spend the charges until you can. If you find yourself constantly out of mana because you're spamming Blast while waiting on a means to recover after a barrage, review your rotation. There's likely something off or overlooked. If you're still always running out of mana, pay attention to how often you are using clear casting. It stacks up to 3 times, and you never want it to get to 3. You can use the channel time of missiles to essentially stall for a bit, while Orb or Shifting Power come off cooldown. Shifting Power reduces all your cooldowns and is helpful to be used after your Arcane Surge has worn off, so you can tack that spell at the end of your Nether phase. Now let's look at what a mid-ranged Arcane Mage looks like. Some synergies here are Arcane Explosion talent, Orb Barrage, Big Brained, and Lay Drinker. This setup doesn't have a set rotation, it's more on the fly. It is easier to learn, but harder to master, and that's why if you chose to go Arcane, this is the spec I recommend. The concept is straightforward. Use clear casting with Arcane Explosion, then spin Nether with Barrage. The skill needed with this setup is to always be recovering charges. You are going to be getting charges at almost an alarming rate, and spending them just as quickly. When you spend them with a barrage, you can shoot out an orb that in turn gives you more charges, which help you recover. Intuition plays a large role in this spec, as you'll be using it as either a charge recovery or part of another. All the while you'll be casting Blast every now and again in a pack of mobs to spend Lay Drinker, which spreads your blast damage. You will always be shifting from this full AoE style with several mobs to more of a full range style when there are less than 3 mobs by consuming clear casting with missiles instead of Arcane Explosion. You don't have evocation here, but you are more than free to incorporate it in if you choose, giving you a hybridized mid-range ramp style that would dominate any AoE situation. The DPS on bosses with this setup is mediocre, but it really shines in AoE, as its damage is reliant on hitting multiple mobs at one time. So if you're planning on doing mythics, I recommend starting with this setup and branching out if you want. But if you plan on raiding, using a full ranged ramp spec will be better. When I say mythics, I'm referring to a tier of dungeon difficulty. There are normal, heroic, and mythic. So let's briefly touch on some of the things you'll need to know if you plan on running mythics or M+. This is a mythic key. You'll get one when you complete a Mythic 0 or Standard Mythic. The key is used in a font at the beginning of the listed dungeon to increase the challenges of that dungeon. Once you have a key in hand, you'll want to prepare for the battle ahead. Firstly, have a good idea of the dungeon you're running. Know the layout of the dungeon and the mechanics the mobs have before learning it for the first time in Mythic+. If the dungeon you're going to isn't in the local area, head to the timeways here. Make sure you have a flask, food, and any other consumables you need. And of course your key. Also make sure you have enough money on hand for any repairs you may need. If the key you have is too challenging, talk to Lynn Dormy and she will lower the key level for you. When you're ready, head to the dungeon listed on your mythic key. In the timeways, familiar bosses and mobs will be shown alongside the corresponding portal. Ensure the dungeon difficulty is set to mythic, then form your group. Once everyone is inside, locate the font and ask if everyone is ready by saying \RC. When everyone is ready, open the font and take the key from your bag and place it in the font. It will show you how long you have to complete the dungeon and any other challenges or affixes you must face. Before you press activate, say \countdown10 to let people know you are going to activate the font. Right before the timer reaches 0, use your mass barrier, then activate it. We do this so we get a free mass barrier. And then the mythic begins. There are some objectives that need to be fulfilled to complete the mythic and get mythic score. You need to complete it in the time given, defeat the bosses listed, and kill enough mobs in the dungeon. This amount is often called percentage, trash, EF, or simply more. There may come a time where you don't beat the timer, which only means you don't get as much mythic score, but still receive loot at the end of the dungeon. The score can be used to earn a mount from achievements. It is also looked at when you apply to mythic-focused guilds, and serves as a very broad measure of someone's skill and commitment in group content. At the end of the dungeon, it is courteous to put out a portal back to town. To learn the more popular portals, talk to an Archmage. Here in Dornogal, her name is Cylindra. And in Valdrakken, Alrigosa. Some things of note. This is a debuff everyone has that means you lose time off your timer if people die. And this is a sated type debuff. It means you can't use Time Warp or benefit from a spell like it until the debuff wears off. A helpful tip is to set up a macro for Time Warp. That way you hear a ding a few seconds before Time Warp comes off cooldown, reminding you that it will be ready very soon. And finally, be wary of mobs that have this icon above their head. This means they can detect stealth or invisibility, so they see right through your trickery. Don't approach them. And be cautious of predators like wolves. Several of them can detect stealth. Deadwood, you still with me, buddy? Don't go dying on me now. We still have to deal with bare minimum.
Bare minimum. We know you're down there. Come out nice and slow. It's time to face justice. Or the consequences of your actions.
All in a day's work, hey Deadwood?
Look at my face, boss. Hurts. Shovel will do that. And here, gunshot. Also hurts. Women will do that, so I'm not much in the mood for celebrating.
Don't be such a wuss. Artemis had more fight in him than that. One last sister to deal with. Then we can head home.
What's the worst that could happen? Shut up, Justice.
Okay, Deadwood.
Don't even say it. I'm not gonna walk over there and yada yada yada. In the last few days, I've been shot and hit over the head with a shovel. Might as well throw me over Justice now and slap her on the ass and let her ride off into the sunset. Because I can't take much more, boss.
I'll have my magic trained on her so she won't take you by surprise. One wrong move on her end and I'll blast her.
Alright, boss.
Oh, you're hurt. Here, let me tend to you, darling.
But, okay.
Oh, what a mess you've gotten yourself into. What brings a handsome man like you out to this damp part of country?
You know, it's the damnedest thing. I don't remember why I came stumbling in here.
Caw, 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 caw.
What an odd-sounding raven.
And what a beautiful sounding woman. Has anyone ever told you you're a crisp, tall drink of water, Ms.
Mossy, and it's Miss Mossy.
Indeed it is. Well, Miss Mossy, you're a sight for sore eyes after the week I've had.
Oh, tell me all about it.
And as for you, my tender, sweet Mossy, whose beauty forever seeks a beast, I grant you a quick release. Nevermore do you draw breath. Nevermore are you pretty. After all, two's company. Come in, come in. I do not bite. Oh, Almar, it's good to see you again, old friend.
I'm going by boss nowadays. I've come to pay my debt.
Yes, you have, and yes, you will. Haven't these thousands of years been such a thrill? No pain, no misery, casting powerful magics with ease. But all things nice have a price. Nothing in this world is free. Your time for fun is done, and now it's time to bend a knee. You will fulfill my every whim, anything I please. You will build statues and temples to worship me. Your bones, your mind, your essence now belong to me. You will rebuild this world piece by piece, all to honor me. You used to scoff and call me a fiend. But now, boss, you may call me Queen.